Hey guys, it's Mike here. I'm here again with the little madam, as you call her. Say hello, Misty. Say hello. Basically, I'm doing this video today because I want to get something off my chest. And as you can tell, it's a very big chest. But yeah, I want to get something off my chest because something's been bugging me since yesterday. And what better place to do it than on my little soapbox here on my YouTube channel. Trying to correct that. Right. There was a bit of an issue when it comes to politics. I try not to talk too much politics on my channel. Try to do a few little things like Simpolitics and stuff and talk to people about, the reason why certain things need to change. Because truthfully, we're in a situation where nothing does change. Nothing has changed. I talked about it previously in my last video. And because nothing is changing, and everything is staying the same, conflicts are being caused. If it wasn't the issue in America and the UK in terms of the colour of your skin, it then turned to an issue about being gay. We wouldn't give gay people the right to marry. We had to argue over the fact that the trans people can't use a bathroom. You name it, there's arguments over it, and there's political agendas being made in terms of, certain incidents. Now, yesterday a rather nasty thing happened when a gentleman decided to carry a bunch of weapons. These were army grade weapons into a gay club and kill everyone in there. Now, there's two things about this. Firstly, these were Latin American people who 40, 50 of them died in this club who shouldn't have died. Secondly, they were killed because they were gay. The individual who caused this, alleged, had ties to ISIS. ISIS, of course, will take credit for anything. If someone burnt toast in the name of Allah, ISIS would take credit for it. Now, I'm not the world's biggest religious freak. I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Muslim, but I've read both the Bible and the Quran. And as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to debates about politics, sorry, I'm just grabbing my headset here, especially when it comes to guns, when it comes to, basically people's rights and freedoms, there should always be a separation of church and state. Politics should not get in the way of religion. Religion should be 50 feet away from politics. Either way. Now, the issue being is people have lost their lives, and certain people have come to Twitter and Facebook. One of them was a disgusting human being by the name of Donald Trump, who is currently campaigning to try and be the president of the United States. The fact that he's in the running to be the next president is kind of scary. And a lot of people keep telling me, well, you can't compare this guy to Hitler. Well, he's doing the same things that Hitler did. He's making intelligent people like you and I become very afraid and give in to our fears in order to basically hurt our fellow man. He's making people do very nasty stuff, and yes, it's out of their own volition, but when the Nazis decided they wanted to eliminate the Jews, these were also very intelligent people who decided to do it anyway. Now, the gentleman who gunned up the club has an issue was arised in terms of gun control, because it's a gun control debate, and a lot of people have been sitting there going, well, why should we debate about guns? I'm at this, perspective. I don't think people should have military grade weapons in their home that they are untrained for, because if you ask anybody who's served in the military, they will tell you what kind of training you need to actually, do this sort of thing, to actually hold these weapons. And I understand that most states have carry laws, which is fine. You get checks. There needs to be proper checks put in place for people who are suffering from mental illness, because it has come out that, excuse me, it's been alleged that the gentleman had bipolar disorder. Now, the reason why I'm not naming the person is because the fact that I don't want to give him any free press. As far as I'm concerned, he did a horrible thing and does not deserve to be named. I know this videos only get like 100 hits per vid, but I still wouldn't want to name them. Oh, my guest star's coming in again. Now, we had basically these gun laws that are put into place. Tougher sanctions need to be put in place in order for people to be screened appropriately. You need, like, you want a weapon, checks have to be made. You have to make sure that you're not suffering from any mental illnesses which can make you go into the point where you misuse your weapon. It's happened, If we go back to the Chris Benoit incident, he wasn't in the right mind when he killed his family, but he still did it. Still did a very horrible thing. Until this day, he's not being remembered as the person who entertained millions of fans all across the world, or the person who was an amazing worker in the industry. He's being remembered as the guy who killed his family. Now, this person, no matter what he did, no matter how he did it, he's going to be remembered as the guy who decided to take guns into a club and kill people. That was of his own decision, his own volition, no matter how ill or mentally ill he was. But having the appropriate checks in place means that people like that will not have, well, I won't say not have, but will have a harder time accessing these guns and weaponry. And also, if they restrict the people holding these kind of military grade weapons without the appropriate training, it makes things a hell of a lot harder for people like this to go out and do what they did. And yes, every American has a gun. Every American can carry, but you need to make sure that you carry appropriately, that you don't misuse your weapons. I've seen videos of guys loading guns off a truck and standing there going, I'm defending my First Amendment right, I'm defending my home. If some terrorist comes in here, I will get ready to shoot with my AK-47. That's part of the problem. It's a big problem. And as I said, I don't have an issue with people carrying. I think handguns would suffice. You could easily point a handgun, bang, you defended yourself. You don't need a freaking automatic assault rifle to defend yourself, because obviously you wouldn't even know how to hold the fucking thing. That's the first issue I have. And people are kind of like having a go at Obama about this and saying this is his fault. Practically, partially, it is. Because the FBI, this man was a known person to the FBI, and the FBI did nothing. They just had said, well, he was a person of interest. Secondly, he was employed by G4S, a company I've known well and truly. And I'm not going to lie, the company is a complete and utterly fucktard. When I was working with them, they were a complete and utter fuck-up operation, to the point where they would hire people with criminal records and even rapists, because they wouldn't have the appropriate checks done. Right? And then they would sit there and blame everybody else, because I was the dude who was cleaning up most of their fucking messes when I was working in the Olympics. To the point where I ended up just quitting after my time at the Olympics finished. They were like, do you want to stay on? No. No. Not going down with this fucking iceberg and this bloody sinking ship. Nope. So there's that. Now, the final thing that kind of bugs me is the fact that immigration has been brought into this. Well, if we basically stop taking people into this country, then we wouldn't have the Sharia law and all this and that. Firstly, being Muslim isn't a problem. The Muslim community came out and condemned the gentleman for doing what he did, and are also trying to raise funds and blood, right, for these people and for those who have survived, and also to basically raise money to help the families as well. So let's take that out of the equation. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be sitting there talking about extreme Muslim terrorists, because this dude was an extremist, but he also wasn't all up there. He was a few sandwiches short of a picnic. Then you have the big thing, which Donald Trump was going on about immigration, saying this is an immigration issue. He was a domestic terrorist. He was born here in the United States, in New York. He was a domestic terrorist. Doesn't matter what his belief structure was, because the fact is, he could have gone on a computer and said, I want to do that. He could have basically looked at the Hindu religion and said, I still want to do that, and I'm going to do it in fact for Hinduism. There was a lot of religions out there that do not support being gay. Do I think that's right? No, because I'm agnostic. One of the reasons why I don't support any religion, because I came out of the situation thinking people need to be allowed to express themselves freely, no matter what path they choose in life. That's me. And, you know, what their sexual preferences should not factor into it. And I'm 100% support the LGBT community. So there you go. But the fact that him and a lot of other people, I've seen friends of mine sharing his stuff as well, sitting there saying that he's right, that the Obama administration should be accountable, that immigration controls need to be enforced. No. The fact is, 1, guns should not be taken away from everybody else. 2, tighter gun controls need to be put in place to stop these idiots from going around fucking carrying assault weapons. 3, they need to reconsider what type of weaponry should be out there on the market. Because unless you're a collector, there is no point having military-grade weapons in the home. 4, this is not an immigration issue. It's homegrown, right? Just like everybody else, whether you're Christian, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Hindu, whether you're Jewish, all these cultures, the uniqueness of America having so many different cultures in their country shows how amazing and how diverse the country is. But we still haven't gotten over that fear. It's the same thing here in the UK, of course. We still haven't gotten over that fear that someone's going to come in here and take our jobs, or someone's going to come in here and blow us up and blow up our homes and stuff. So we lash out and we turn into these people that we condemn. Going around and beating up other Muslims and hitting people and assaulting people just because they're wearing a burqa, and infringing on people's rights to do with who they are and what they are, that's not going to basically help those that were affected by this crisis. By closing your borders and not allowing anybody into your country, that's not going to help either. What next? Should you get the government to censor TV? Because if you have Muslims on TV, isn't that going to affect it? You know, maybe they should basically just take away that as well. Or here's another one. Why don't they stop any post coming from people from overseas? Or maybe you shouldn't Skype your friend who's from an Arab country. Maybe you should do that too. Because people are so wound up by fear that they're not thinking straight, in my opinion. And I'm not going to condemn anybody for their beliefs. I'm not going to condemn anybody for their opinions. But the moment you start turning into a very nasty human being because you're afraid, you may say and you may do something very horrible yourself. Situations like these turn people from one side of the alignment to another. And it takes a strong-willed person to unite and come together. Now, I'm going to leave some links at the bottom there, which will, if you want to donate, you can do. Because there's a GoFundMe out for these victims of this very nasty and horrendous incident. There is also if you'd like to give blood, there is a link at the bottom there which shows where your local, places to do so. So you can give blood and basically go out there and show some support, especially if you're type O negative, I believe, and type O positive. They need a lot of that. But yeah, that's pretty much it from me. And a wise man once said, if we don't learn from the past, we are doomed to repeat it. Now, you don't have to be a fucking rocket scientist to know. If you've learned anything about black history, if you learned anything about slaves, if you learned anything about the way people were treated way back, you don't have to go fully back through history to see the way that people were traded and treated, and how even you had individuals who stood up for their rights gunned down in cold blood. At one point, they didn't even want black people, you know, black women and white men, or white men and white women and black men to marry. And we were all having a debate about who should be using the toilet. Don't condemn people. Don't harm people. Don't treat people like shit because of one sick individual. And if he does believe in heaven and hell, if he does believe in religion, then let's hope he burns in hell. But now, tonight, you know, I know it's fresh, but we really need to basically support one another. Because if we don't, the world's going to turn to a very horrible place, and I don't want to raise my 4 children in a horrible, horrible place. I may have stubble on my face, I may look brown, I may look like an Islamic person, but I guarantee you, I'm just an Englishman trying to talk sense to a world full of very scared individuals who think that things aren't going to go their way. Sometimes the best thing to do is to face a problem head on than to ignore it or stop it, you know, from coming into your country. Because we're never going to stop it. Just the way that these people never stopped when troops came over to Iraq looking for weapons of mass destruction. Just when the people are fighting over the borders and you're getting all these innocent people stuck in the crosshairs. I know it's a huge issue, but by hating on Islam and hating on those who support it, it's not gonna do anything for each and every one of us. So there you go. Hope you understand. If you don't like this video, I understand. I'm sorry. You know, but I'm just trying to convey an annoyance, because I respect everyone and I love everybody. It's the way that I've always been. It's kind of one of the reasons why I'm agnostic, because I believe in my own values rather than believing in the values of whatever the Bible or the Quran teaches me, and haven't found anything substantial in religious text. Just the way it is. But anyway, I'm done for the night. Have a great day, guys. Love you all. Stay sexy.